Thank you for joining us here today at RECOFT, the Center for People in Forests. My name is Caroline Liu. I'm the Communication Manager at RECOFT's headquarters in Bangkok, Thailand. We're very fortunate to have with us today all three of RECOFT's executive directors, Dr. Somsak, the founder of RECOFT, Dr. Yam Mala, RECOFT's second executive director, who led RECOFT from 2002 to 2011, and Dr. Tin Nguyen Tong, RECOFT's current executive director. Welcome, all of you. Dr. Somsak, may I ask you the first question, please? Can you tell us why you started RECOFT? What were you hoping to address?
Because the Asian Development Bank approached Kasetsat University, and at that time I was the Dean of the Faculty of Forestry to establish this center to respond to the Jakarta Declaration. And at that time, we don't have a forester that well trained enough in extension, in working with the rural people. So that happened in every country, and that's why the Congress declared that they need the regional institutes that function for this new approach.
Dr. Mala, can I ask you, when you began at RECOFT in 2002, what would you say was the main challenge community forestry faced at that time?
I think, as Dr. Somsak said, that Jakarta Declaration and the emphasis on forest for people. Why for forest for people? Partly because this forest there had been trained in nationalizing forest all over the world, and having the government to actually manage the forest. But as a rural people were dependent on forest very much, and the forest was actually degrading, and deforestation was happening all over the place, and the government was not able to actually manage the forest and protect the forest on its own. So I think it was very important for and the forestry officials, they started to realize that without the cooperation and participation of the local people, it would be very difficult for the government alone to actually protect the world forest resources. And then there was like Jakarta Forest, and after that the FAO actually produced a community forestry paper, Forestry Paper 7, which is Community Forestry for Local Development. That actually started to work as a Bible. I think then a lot of donor agencies and government, they started to change their forest policy, and having a provision for community forestry in their policy and program. And the donors, they started to come forward to support various national governments. But then when I took over RECOFT, other issues started to come up, like this biodiversity, and sustainable development, and all this. So yes, I think and the donors also had started to change their positions about in a way, like they were focusing on the more global and regional programs and not local community development kind of programs, and the poverty reduction, like the Millennium Development Goals and all this started to come in. So I think somehow this community forestry was losing ground, and somehow I think the community forestry program got shadowed. So it was a challenge for community forestry. And when I took over RECOFT, I think the donor agencies were moving away from community forestry. So how can we actually reorient ourselves, those involved in community forestry, and then saying that the community forestry is still very relevant, is still very needed. So it was quite a challenge to actually bring back donors to support community forestry programs.
Okay, well, I would say that's a challenge that you met. Yeah. RECOFT has thrived very much.
Yeah.
So now RECOFT has trained more than 50,000 people in community forestry in the region. That's an amazing achievement. Have you followed the careers of any RECOFT alumni? Where are they now?
But I think wherever I go, I think I just encounter people, even within my country, my own country, Nepal, and also outside Nepal, particularly in the region. Some of the people who were trained in RECOFT were very young, but now they have become the Director General and some secretaries also. So they have, and they still have the close heart for community forestry. They think about RECOFT.
Dr. Tin, can I ask you a similar question? Since you joined RECOFT in 2011, what are you most proud about RECOFT achieving under your leadership so far?
Okay. First of all, I would like to mention about how lucky I am, especially to lead this organization, because when the time I joined, the organization has been well established with the leaderships of these two directors, with their very successful leadership. RECOFT was a quite established program, but at the same time, we got an opportunity to extend, to scale up our engagement even in the country level, and also build this, the current strong team. So these are the quite important milestone in the RECOFT.
Dr. Somsak, can I ask you the same question as well? What are you most proud about RECOFT achieving during your time as the leader of RECOFT?
I'm very glad that the foundation of the center was well established. It in fact, to establish such a center in the country, it's not easy. It has to pass. It has to meet with many obstacles, and but with the assistance from many countries that come to set up as a regional center.
Dr. Mala, now looking at the future, what would you say is the main area, priority area, that community forestry still needs to address?
A lot of questions were being raised whether local people can really protect and manage and govern forest resources. But now it is well established now. I think people don't question about the need for involving community forestry. Now the challenge for institutions like RECOFT and others who are actually involved in promoting community forestry to show the results on the ground. And for that, I think, and Dr. Tint and I have been talking about it, about the need for having a mechanism for assessing community forestry and showing the results, documenting the results, making the case of community forestry, and convincing the people and the government who have been investing on community forestry is actually producing tangible results. Time has come to look at community forestry in a holistic way and see how it can actually contribute to sustainable development. That means including biodiversity conservation.
Dr. Tint, and can I ask you, what do you hope RECOFT can achieve in the next 10 years?
The expectation of the global policy on the community forestry has been very high. For example, like community has been expected to address the poverty reduction, and expected to solve some of the fewer crises. Now again, also the community forestry has been expected to address the climate change. So what I want to say is this global policy will be changing from time to time. We want to make sure that we are valid. Whatever policy comes up, community forestry can be part of solving this, sorting out this, addressing this policy issue. And we want to see, of course, RECOFT can be managed by the many regional talents, because this is the organization. What we are working for is to promote the capacity of the regional talents, and so this organization should be led and also be worked by the many regional talents in the long run. And also, I want to see, I hope that in the long run, of course, the most of the quality lands, not only the quantitative area, most of the quality lands are managed by our local people, so that they can effectively generate their income as well. So I want to see more of the lands under the management of the communities, as well as the having more access to the strong tenure in the coming year as well. So thank you.
Dr. Somsak, Dr. Mala, Dr. Tint, thank you very much for joining us here today. It's been a privilege to learn from the three of you. Thank you.